Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I think I will label it my hot takes hot takes or Kim's hot take, my opinions. I don't know. I want you guys to look at these strawberries that I just bought. They were a bit pricey. This guy charged me 50 bucks, but they are so huge. Please look at this one. It's literally got like 3 heads. Another like annoying trait about me is that when I'm going through certain things in my life, especially personal, I lack in my professional life. And so when there's something, maybe let's say, for example, someone dear to my heart is not feeling well and is hospitalized, I will not post, I will not edit content, I will not be consistent because I'm just unable to put my head in more than one thing. And that is something that I need to work on. While I ramble about I don't know what, we're gonna be having Max Box fish and chips. A sausage. I don't know how many inches this is, but that's funny because I just got like a silly thought in my head. We'll go with 6 inches. We have some small fish over here, hake, and some fries. I also put some acha on top because I love some heat in my food, and ketchup. So we're gonna use my boobs as a table. I feel the need to apologize because you guys subscribed for content. You didn't subscribe for silence. This is so good. This is my first meal of the day. It's 5 p.m. I'm gonna talk about the importance of paying attention to how you react to situations. There was this video on TikTok a while ago that was trending. So this lady, her husband just cheated on her. Somehow, I don't know how she found out, but she found out that the au pair is actually her husband's daughter, and she flipped out. And for some odd reason, she decided to record her reaction to this news and post it on TikTok. She was crashing out. I'll see if I can post a snippet on here.
Tell me she was your daughter. Did you tell me she was your daughter? Did you tell me she was your daughter?
Why is the camera?
You told me she was your niece. You bloody liar.
Man, you go to no camera.
Get out.
Man, you go to
camera. And you may post here.
Camera.
May post here. People will know you for who you are. People will know you for who you are. You're a devil. You're a devil.
If you're gonna post such on TikTok, I assume that you were hoping that the audience would be on your side and be like, oh gosh, your husband is a dog, how dare he? Nope. Instead, the people called her evil, a vicious see you next Tuesday. They called her all the names but the child of God. And then recently, there's this reality TV show called The Real Housewives of Durban. And so there's this lady. The show decided to only document her reaction to the disrespect. And guess what? The country's not on her side. So much so that they even are trying to get her fired from her job in solidarity, in support of the cast member that was bullying her and initially made her react that way. People are not focusing on what pissed her off. People are focusing on her reaction. So I want you to look at these 2 stories. This is why your response always needs to be strategic. You can only meet people as far as you've met yourself. When you have that emotional intelligence and you know how to be in tune with your emotions, you are able to understand people and where they're coming from. I saw myself both as the victim and as the villain. What all of this has taught me is the importance of being strategic with your responses, especially disrespect. So much so that you need to prep for it in advance. Everything in this life is a mind game and a chess move, and everybody's wearing a mask. If anything, if you're not wearing a mask right now, you are playing a dangerous game. What this life has taught me is to treat everything like a business deal, even people. You cannot let your guard down except with your mother and your siblings. Anyone else who is not in that circle, treat them like you're dealing with a business partner. People have hidden agendas. People are always wearing masks. And so you will not always be met with empathy and understanding People will see what they see at face value and judge you from the beat. They're not gonna analyze, why did she say that? Why did she crash out like that? Even me, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I crashed out. I felt attacked. Like the pot has been brewing, man. But it got to a certain point where I crashed out and I told everyone who's near me their business. I have never felt so low before in my life, because I realized in that moment that snap, they pulled you at the bottom where they are at. They pulled you where they are at. They took you down with them and you went down and you crashed out. And the only thing that made noise that day was not how I was treated, the digs, the shade, but how I responded. And I was so mad at myself. I even called a friend and I cried. Like, oh, I just like, oh, calm down, calm down, calm down. They had it coming, they had it coming. Forgive yourself, you know? You cannot have your emotions on the line. You cannot put your heart on the line. So much so, I think even with romantic relationships, everything just needs to be strategic, man. This world is rotten to the core. And so if you're going to approach things with your heart, if you're going to approach things with sincerity and no ulterior motives, they will put you to the slammer, and quick too. People in this world, I don't think that they like someone who's pure hearted. They don't resonate with someone who seems forgiving and accepting and kind and patient. They don't gravitate towards such people. And guess what? A lot of the times, they also respond the most to your hardcore self than your empathetic, calm, understanding, tranquil self. So it's interesting how they only respond when you crash out, but when you're calm and respectful and tactful in your words, abaguzwa, they don't feel you. And so your responses always have to be strategic before you leave your home, whatever it is that you're going to do. And I know that this is very exhausting, but whatever it is that you're going to do, you need to think it through and how you're going to tackle it, whatever encounters you're going to have. Enemies and even friends. Okay, I'm going to meet with this person. This is how things are going to go. If things go this way, this is how I'm going to react. You never, ever, ever want to let them see you sweat. You never, ever want to let them see you crash out, because, baby, they are counting on that day when you crash out, so much so that they will poke and poke and poke until they find that and see that reaction. Because your calmness and just maturity with everything pisses their demons off. So I'm currently reading a really, really good book by Robert Greene, Power. I love how in the beginning of the book he says that you can come into this world and tell yourself that I'm not going to play that game. I'm going to wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm not going to be doing all of that hierarchy power move. Nah, the world will force you to start being strategic with everything. It sucks, especially if that's not who you are from the core. Because some of us are not strategic, some of us are not evil, some of us are not calculated. And yet we are forced to always somehow put on that mask. Study people. What does this person need? Okay, in order to get what I want, let me give them what they need. Is it an ego boost? Is it compliments? Is it stroking the ego? Okay, let me do that in order to get what I need, even if it means getting them off my case. Let me give them what they need. Oh, he's bragging about what he has. Okay, that tells me that he wants me to know what he has and his power. Give him that. It sucks how everything is a mind game, but it is, baby. It is. And if you do not play the chess, you'll always find yourself being the one who's apologizing to people, being the one who people kind of like you owe people like something, or now they've seen your weaknesses, they know which buttons to press. You don't want to go out in this world and just be like a little clown and happy and cheerful and everybody's got good intentions. No, they do not. And you know why? Abantu heads. People have been hurt. I think that's why I saw. People like Robert Greene wouldn't have written books like this if the world was a pure place that only revolved around purity of the heart. Robert Greene wrote this book because he came to a point in his life when he figured out that everything is a chess move. If you want to get this, do this. If you want to get that, you know what I'm saying? So everything needs to be a chess move, even your crash out. Littlefinger. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Game of Thrones, but I know it's a fictional character, but he once made a comment to Sansa Stark that you need to just imagine when you first meet a person for the first time, imagine that they've got the worst intentions. Imagine that they want to harm you, and then they want what you want, and they want what you have, and also imagine what they would do to get those things. That's how you must deal with people. Watching that back then, I thought, hey, this man is evil. Why would you want to look at people like that at the first go? People are different with different stories. Why would I want to look at people as a threat and as something that needs to be conquered? But knowing what I know about life now and having read this book, I know that there were some bits of that were factual. Everyone has a motive. I suppose my empathetic side could come in by assuming that people don't just end up being who they are miraculously. A villain did not just become a villain. A villain became a villain because at some point he was bullied and he made a conscious decision that he was no longer going to be the victim but the bully. Keep in mind, a lot of the times we think that people's character developments are maybe from school, workplaces, or relate. No, some of the character development began at home. That person has been bullied by their parents or their siblings, where they come from. So everything they do and say stems from the background where they come from. How on earth can you compete with that? Because how on earth would you know their story? How they came to be who they are? That is not even your fight to fight or your war to fight, so to speak. The best thing you can do for yourself is be calculated. Never in a million years did I think that I would have that mindset. Everything. I went on a date the other day. Everything was great. I hadn't seen this guy in a while. But as the conversation went on, I realized that, nah, man, the things that he kept telling me about himself, he was keeping me up to speed with who he is now. Stories about huge sums of money, huge business deals, serious allegations. It might have been a bragging moment for him, but he was also keeping me up to speed and he was also trying to tell me how to receive him. You see, this is what this book is doing to me. It's making me strategic in everything, even with my listening skills. The things that a person chooses to tell you, it tells you all about them and what they need from you. It's all about figuring out what people need quickly and giving them what they need. And so after he started making those little, bragging stories, telling me about the little brags here and there, I started giving him what he needed. Ooh, you're a millionaire now. Oh, God. Oh. And then I started talking about my business and da 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 da. Like, so you figure out what people need and you give it to them if you want the best outcome out of relationships. Even enemies. They say keep them close because they most likely might figure out quicker ways to destroy you. And so if you keep them close, you are able. Oh, this book is powerful. You are able to deceive them into thinking that you're not even aware that you know that they are your enemies. They will probably have way much more to prove because you're bringing them closer into your circle. People are complex. And when you get to that level of maturity and emotional intelligence, and you figure out who's who, what, I think a lot of the times you'll be happier because you did not move or get into situations with your heart on your sleeve and expectations and, oh, if I respect you, you respect me. If I do this, you'll do this. If I'm loyal to you when you are broke, you'll definitely look out for me when you start getting up. No, you are able to move into get in situations like that without getting your heart broken because you understand people from a complex point of view. The way you respond, how you respond, always needs to be strategic. And especially if you care about how you are perceived, that woman who was cheated on by her husband, she could have just, after finding out, calmly called him to the side and did some manipulation tactics, so much so that he started not only valuing her as a wife, but realizing that there's nothing better than her. Like everything, you need to wear a mask with everything, bruh. The only place where you can let your guard down and put your heart on your sleeve and all of that is when you're dealing with your mother. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. See you on the next time.